yield myself such time as I may consume, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I find myself compelled to point out that listening to Republican arguments today, you'd think that they have been sacred stewards of the SPRO, and that couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, when Republicans had the majority in both the House and the Senate from 2015 to 2019, they passed 6 bills, none of which had anything to do with energy, that rated the SPRO for a total of over 260 million barrels of crude. Now the Republicans stand here criticizing President Biden's usage of the SPRO, and it's laughable. President Biden's usage of the SPRO has helped lower gas prices by nearly $1.80 per gallon since their peak. And while the Republicans want to pretend they're tough on China, it's really the opposite that's true. Last year, the Biden administration was forced to sell 20 million barrels from the SPRO under one of those laws that I mentioned earlier that passed a Republican-controlled Congress. The Republicans did include any restrictions, no restrictions or stipulations on that sale, and as a result, the administration was forced to sell to the highest bidders, including a firm owned by the People's Republic of China. Now, again, I'm going to stress in closing, the Republicans caused China to have a huge petroleum reserve by lifting the ban on crude oil in 2015 when they were in the majority. We would not have this problem.
The House is not in order. Please take your conversations off the floor. Gentleman may resume.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Prior to 2015, when the Republicans lifted the ban on exports of crude oil, we had that ban in place for 40 years. And then in 2015, they came in and they lifted the ban. So they caused this problem. And during the Trump administration, the amount of crude oil that was sold to China was unbelievable. As a result, the petroleum reserve increased significantly in China. They took advantage of the situation. Now, if you really wanted to do something today, first of all, you'd say that the SPRO should not only be banned by selling oil from the SPRO to China, but you should say that you can't sell it to Russia, you can't sell it to Iran, you can't sell it to North Korea, you can't sell it to our adversaries, which is exactly what the gentlewoman from Pennsylvania, Ms. Houlihan's bill, does on a bipartisan basis. But even beyond that, you could simply say no crude oil should be sold at all, exported at all, or certainly not exported to our adversaries. And that's not what's happening here. So this is a problem that was created by the Republicans, and they pretend that they're doing something about it today, but in fact they are not. And the reason is because they're with the big oil, they're with the special interests that want to sell this crude oil, continue to sell it overseas, and they don't care that it goes to our adversaries. That's the bottom line. This bill is not going to accomplish anything. And so I would urge my colleagues to vote no on the legislation. And with that, I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman yields back.